actually comes down, it forms the salicylic acid, but it inhibits the prostaglandins, but produces a new pathway resulting in formation of leukotrienes. Leukotriene synthesis is related to allergies and asthma, and the COX-2 enzyme is inhibited at the serine residue 16 position. So I'm going to try to explain this picture. We have prostaglandins again. We're going to talk about aspirin and prostaglandins. So aspirin blocks the cyclooxygenase from working. So when it does that, it blocks the prostaglandin synthesis, leading to a reduction of fever, pain, and inflammation. Aspirin blocks irreversibly by covalently binding to with the COX enzyme. This barricades the COX-2 active site and blocks production of the prostaglandins. So if we look over here, we have the COX-1, and here we have the serine residue. This is the catalytic site where what we see is aspirin's acetyl group comes in and attaches to the serine residue, and it goes into the narrow hydrophobic channel, and that leads to the active site where the binding occurs. The serine amino acid is acetylated, and the channel is blocked, and the arachidonic acid can no longer reach the COX catalytic site. So I'm going to try to explain it here, but these are dimers. They're two identical dimers that are formed from these COX-1. And there's here is our arachidonic acid, and it goes in here, it comes into that catalytic site, and it starts making those prostaglandins, and that's where we see these things, where it comes out and it makes the prostaglandins. After aspirin comes along, the amino acid serine residue site is actually obstructed by an acetyl group in the aspirin modified. So here's our arachidonic acid coming in, but aspirin's already kind of beat it to the site and put the acetyl groups. So acetylsalicylic acid, the aspirin, comes in through that channel, that hydrophobic channel, binds to that catalytic site, and it blocks this guy from coming in, and that does not make any prostaglandins. And that's how we explain that. And that is all I have. I hope I explained a little bit about aspirin and prostaglandins and the inflammatory response and how it is the mechanism and the pathway. Thank you for listening, and
Have a good night.
Have a good night.